As many of you may be aware, I have a very heavy heart today, and it's made me reassess where my head's at versus previous days. Things I was mad about yesterday don't seem so important today. Things I thought of speaking on yesterday, I don't feel like speaking on today. Instead, I want to implore each and every one of you to reach out to someone that you may think is going through a rough time at present and quite simply ask, "Are you okay?" Don't judge. Don't offer your advice. Don't tell them what they could do differently. Just listen. You may not like or agree with what you hear. Just listen. It costs nothing to listen, and you may well be saving a life. If you find yourself a fix-it type person, rather than offering advice, try offering encouragement. Whether it's going out and doing coffee together, or simply a phone conversation. And if they're still the same over a period of weeks, you might like to encourage them to seek therapy to help them sort through their feelings. It doesn't matter if you agree with their feelings or not. Your agreement or disagreement doesn't help them in any way whatsoever. And it's okay if their feelings are way too big for you to manage. That's what therapists are for. But not everybody needs a therapist. Sometimes we just need someone to be asking, "Are you okay?" and to be prepared to listen when we're not. Don't wait for them to reach back out to you. Check in on them occasionally. Let them know that you're there, that they don't have to go through anything alone. Don't attack them because they said something you didn't agree with, or they did something in their momentary lapses of reason that upset you. Don't pile on. Just listen. If the next person wants to come at you sideways because you listened, or is judging you because you didn't pile on when they wanted you to, that is their problem, their lack of empathy, not yours. If you feel that you risk making someone else mad by showing empathy towards someone who is not okay, and you go ahead and reach out to them anyway and ask if they're okay, then you are exhibiting strength of character, not weakness. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Just ask, "Are you okay?" and listen. In the coming days, Abby and I will be discussing a range of topics, including creators supporting creators. Sometimes we can't tell you everything that's going on in our lives. Sometimes we have things going on that we just can't speak about publicly, and by doing so we would just be making matters much worse in our private lives. Sometimes we have very passionate viewers who take matters into their own hands and harass our loved ones or those we have confided in. And sometimes our mods, who we have put most trust in to moderate behaviour in our chats, end up being the ones whose behaviour we need to moderate. Abby and I will put some time towards discussing some of these topics, particularly for those who have just started YouTube channels and are not yet familiar with stalkers and many of the other topics I've just mentioned. On the most part, I won't be offering any advice. I'll simply be speaking on some of the experiences that I've had in the couple of years that I've had a YouTube channel, just so others are aware what happens and how difficult it can be sometimes to navigate, especially when you have tens of thousands of viewers all watching your content and all very unique in their own feelings and personalities. Most of us are well aware that you can't please all of the people all of the time, even before we start a YouTube channel. But there are definitely pitfalls and social issues that arise from having a YouTube channel. Anyway, I don't know if it's going to be helpful to anybody, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway, just in case it is. In the meantime, I would encourage you to reach out to someone that you think may be having a rough time of it at the moment and asking them, "Are you okay?" If you don't know somebody in that predicament, I would just encourage you to be calm, cool, kind and considerate. And as Shorty would say, thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Things are getting really, really negative around the Free Karen Read movement, and that hurts my heart. Because I've been a part of this Free Karen Read movement since the beginning. And I've grown to like a lot of people in this movement. And I'm really taken aback by the things that have been happening lately, and hoping that maybe this stream can be, cathartic for some people who feel the same way. It does seem to be, a select few who I'm not going to name because I respect each and every one of them, and I'm sorry for what they're all going through when they're having to sacrifice or endure during all of this. So I did see some really negative things, and it has gotten to the point lately where it seems like Free Karen Read people are turning on each other more so than before. And everyone is adding oxygen to a fire that's lit. And I just want to this is going to be a quick live, just to kind of point out why we all came together as a community. A lot of us made family, chosen family out of this movement, and we come together for a special cause, which is working against the corruption that is happening in Massachusetts. There's Karen Read, who is the spotlight of all of this corruption that has been happening in Norfolk County specifically, but it does not end there. There's corruption everywhere and in every sector of our government here in Massachusetts. Needless to say, Sandra Birchmore, and the chances of a woman unaliving herself while she's pregnant are next to zero, and Norfolk County allowed that to happen. Enrique, I grew up in Hyde Park, in the area of Boston and Hyde Park where Sean Ellis was accused and spent decades in prison because he was wrongfully convicted of a crime that involved a police officer that other police officers were trying to cover for. There is a bigger purpose here than pointing fingers respectfully, okay? I'm just pointing out the obvious. But the real purpose here that we all came together with, and that we all feel like family when we're at the standouts, when we're planning events, when we're in chat and we're saying hi to each other, it's one common goal, which is to end corruption in Massachusetts. It is not to point fingers of who's to blame, who's to this, who's to that, this person's crazy, this person did this. No, none of that stuff should matter for what the purpose is. In my opinion, the purpose is to come together and stand up to our government and tell them what is not right and what is not going to happen on our watch.